Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So lately there's been one heck of a lot of misinformation, would be the kind term, flat out lies about the land that is held in control by the federal government and proposals to perhaps sell a part of it. So what are we looking at here? It's really a lot of people on the left talking about an idea, a concept that hasn't even been completely fleshed out over on the Senate side as part of the big, beautiful bill. So if you've listened to their talking points, you'd think we're selling off Yosemite and bulldozing national parks, which is, of course, nonsense. No one is proposing that, and they know it, but they keep saying it anyway. Groups are putting out deliberately misleading maps showing entire national forests and mountain ranges being at risk, even though the bill explicitly protects any land with a designation such as national parks, monuments, recreation areas, wilderness, and more. It also includes land with excludes lands with valid existing rights, which means grazing leases, mining claims, which they stay in place, and backcountry roads and trails that will be protected. So I'm disappointed with some of the people that I tend to hang with generally on falling into that category as well. What's actually being considered are isolated orphan parcels near existing development, parcels the federal government doesn't maintain and usually has no use for. A lot of times the federal land is held in checkerboard patterns. Now, let me refer to the map here a little bit. You see this bright orange in the western states, west of the Rockies, that is dominated as federal controlled land. The east, much less so. That's probably why folks on the eastern part of the country don't think this is a big deal, that, oh, we'll just let the federal government control more and more of these lands. Look at Nevada here, almost solid orange. Utah, my district in Northern California, dominated by federal land. Is that good or is that bad? Well, when we continue to have million-acre fires, hundreds of thousands of acres of fires, whichever year it's occurring, it's a pretty bad deal. As well, we used to have a good, strong timber industry in my part of the state, as well as the West. That's been replaced by us having to come hat in hand every year to ask for what's called Secure Rural Schools funding, a replacement for what used to go to counties and local schools from timber harvest receipts. That's been knocked out years ago due to the spotted owl and environmental stuff that's gone along with that for so many years. So what we get then is federal lands that are held and hardly even managed or touched. So I gave you all the exclusions a moment ago on areas that wouldn't even be part of a proposal, which is still a proposal over on the Senate side, on what federal lands might be for sale. The federal government controls 640 million acres. What's even being talked about over there is a tiny fraction of that. The last number I heard was somewhere around 3 million. I don't know if that'll hold up in the bill or not. New proposals are coming on that, but at least we can talk about it. When you're talking about a sale of maybe 0.5% of all this land's dominated and not managed by Forest Service, not managed well by BLM, not managed well by others, national parks even. Parks is years and years and billions of dollars behind on their maintenance. And sometimes they want to even buy up more land. So we talk about once in a while like rejiggering that a little bit, reset of maybe there's some lands that could be appropriate to be sold off. Oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. No, it isn't. So Northern California, my area, we're tired of it. We're tired of the lands not being managed, going up in smoke, burning out the wildlife, burning out the watersheds, which means all that ash, and then later on erosion ends up in our waterways, in our water supply. It's not a win, okay? So whenever we're going to have this discussion, I'm not sure what's going to come out over the Senate in a final bill that we're going to vote on to affirm or not, but we should at least have an honest discussion about what's going on with the federal land that the government controls, 640 million acres, and we're talking about maybe 0.5%. So our counties, our local tax bases are eroded with so much. I mentioned the Secure Rural Schools. There's also another one called PILT. It's called Payment in Lieu of Taxes. That means when there's so much land owned by the federal government that the counties don't gain property tax base from that. So we have to come hat in hand, once again, the federal government, would you please send us our PILT money? And they take a long time to get it out. We have to fight to get it into a bill. The people on the eastern states or in the urban areas wonder, why are we sending you this money? Why do we care about SRS for Secure Rural Schools? Why do we care about PILT? because you took that stuff away from us a long time ago. The founders had no concept that this much land would be federal controlled, yet here we are. And we are getting bad results from it on the way it's mismanaged, non-managed, all the above. So with that much being owned or controlled by the federal government, it's at least okay to have a conversation once in a while about, is this appropriate? So I think in the sense we're talking about, yes, we want to preserve the right lands. We want to take care of those lands, but there's lands that are appropriate to talk about any possible situation like this. Thank you. I yield back.
The gentleman yields. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1,